Thomas here, and today we're doing a quick review on the Flipper DeepSee Magnified Viewer. If you want a great tool that lets you experience your tank and all its beauty up close, giving you not only a whole new way to enjoy viewing your reef, but also help you monitor the physical health of your inhabitants, then check out DeepSee. I mean, there are not many products that give you a new way to appreciate your tank. Plus, it's actually pretty cool for taking pictures. There are many reasons why we enjoy keeping reef tanks, whether it's because you love collecting corals, you're a gear junkie, or you enjoy the challenge of managing a complex ecosystem, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to enjoying the beauty of our tanks. A thriving reef tank has a vast array of colors, shapes, and textures that can easily be seen at any distance, but when you get up close, say with a macro lens, you open up an entirely new world to experience. The good news is you don't need an expensive macro lens for your DSLR camera in order to get a closer view. Flipper's DeepSee Magnified Viewer is a great way to get a close-up view of your tank inhabitants, whether you want to see every little polyp on your acropora, check out the tiny little critters hiding in the rockwork, or inspect your fish and corals for minuscule parasites without having to remove them from the tank. The magnetically mounted DeepSee is a very cool piece of reefing kit that I think just about any reefer is really going to appreciate. The 4-inch viewing area uses an optical grade 3x magnifier and has a focal range of around 3 to 8 inches, meaning it'll give you the best picture quality at a distance of about 3 to 8 inches into the aquarium. Even past 8 inches, it does a good job of magnifying, but the clarity isn't quite as sharp, still more than enough to clearly see the minute details of an acropora. For those with smaller tanks, there's also a 3-inch nano version available. I can also see the DeepSee being a really fun tool for taking photos of the tank as well, adding an interesting new perspective and giving you the ability to get clearer photos of the smaller details even with your phone. Most phones don't have the greatest optical zoom, and the digital zoom will pixelate the image, making it less sharp, but with the DeepSee, you won't need to zoom in nearly as much or at all, and you can maintain that image clarity for some pretty awesome shots. I've also used the clip-on macro lenses available for smartphones, and they work pretty well close up, but not for corals further back in the tank. The DeepSee overcomes that obstacle as well, making it much easier to get close-ups of things deeper in the tank or further back. Plus, I don't have to take my phone case off to clip on a lens because it's right there, stuck on the tank via the magnet, hands-free, which is kind of awesome. Now with that said, it's definitely not going to replace a good DSLR macro lens, but it is dramatically less expensive and a lot easier to use. Aside from the cool new perspective it provides, I think where the DeepSee really shines is giving you a closer look at your fish, inverts, and corals so that you can monitor them and inspect them for parasites, hitchhikers, and other maladies without having to remove them from the tank. The signs of coral-eating parasites can be easy to miss with the naked eye, especially since many of them tend to take on the same appearance as their coral host, but even with a small amount of magnification, they are much easier to spot and can help you identify the issue before the coral is in really rough shape. I can definitely see the DeepSee being an invaluable tool not only for your display tank, but also for your quarantine system for monitoring fish and corals. If you do intend to use the same DeepSee viewer for both your quarantine and display tank, I highly recommend only using the internal magnet for the tank it will spend most of its time on, and use it handheld for the other tank. That way you don't accidentally cross-contaminate between the quarantine system and the display, which would be awful and defeat the purpose of having a quarantine system. It's not something you often think about, but it is important. Being able to inspect for unwanted pests and hitchhikers is fantastic, but taking steps to make sure you don't have any getting into your tank in the first place is definitely best practice. Ryan goes through how to safely add new corals to your tank in this 5-minute guide right here. It is incredibly important if you're newer to reefing, or if you've been around for a while and kind of have been, just winging it, have a watch. It's not difficult, but it is a good practice.